Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're taking a closer look at, listening to, and installing the Corsa Sport dual exhaust with the satin polished tips and the dual rear exit, available for the 19 and newer 5.7 Ram 1500 with the factory dual exhaust. If you did come with a factory dual exhaust, you should be checking this out if you're looking for a more aggressive, best of both worlds aftermarket exhaust that has really high quality materials while also giving you a deep, throaty, and even more rowdy exhaust tone than your factory one. Now, as you just heard from our sound clips here, I'm going to give this 3 out of 5 on our loudness meter, even giving it 4 out of 5 on our loudness meter during cold starts. Now, when you do start this up cold, it's going to be super loud, lots of aggressive volume to it with a really mean bark. Now, as it starts to warm up and you start going red light to red light, it's definitely going to be a little bit more tamed, but still give you a louder volume and a deeper, throatier tone. You might even get a little bit of backfire there at deceleration. Now, when you start hitting the highway, you can expect little to no drone inside the cabin, making it a great daily driver exhaust for those doing long commutes to work or someone who has kids in the back seat and you don't want it to drown out their ears inside the cabin there, or if you're just looking to listen to music without having to crank it over the exhaust. This one here is, again, for the dual exhaust equipped Rams. Now, if your truck came with a single exhaust, this one's not going to be for you, but Corsa does have something very similar for you guys, but this is going to be for the dual exhaust only. This is going to come with the 5-inch satin polished tips. Now, the polished tips are a little bit more attractive than your factory tip, which is also polished. It's definitely going to be a little bit bigger than the factory tip, and it's got the Corsa name engraved right on the side there, which I think looks really, really sharp. Now, if you're not a big fan of that Corsa, or if you don't want logos on your exhaust tips, you could just rotate it upwards and you wouldn't be able to see it at all because it is only on one side. Now, if you're not interested in the satin polished finish, they have a gunmetal one as well, which is a little bit of a dark gray, also with the satin sheen, not high gloss, but the satin sheen and gunmetal looks really sharp as well. There's also a black option in the category too. Now, as far as construction, this is a 304 mandrel bent system head to toe. You have a 3-inch inlet, dual 2.5-inch outlet, and it's going to be perfect for the guys looking for higher quality materials in the category. Now, 304 stainless is the highest in the category, being the most corrosion and rust resistant, something I would always recommend for guys located like we are here on the East Coast. We see a lot of road salt in the wintry weather months, which we know can take a toll on the underbody of the vehicle and specifically the exhaust components. So 304 is going to be the most durable, but also going to come with a higher price tag. If you're looking to cut costs, some 409 stainless steel options might be better suited for you. Now, the 304 stainless here and the dual exhaust system from Corsa comes in right around $1,200. Now, the install is going to get 2 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Anybody can tackle it in the driveway at home with about 2, maybe 3 hours from start to finish and very simple hand tools. No cutting, no drilling, no nonsense. It'll go right on, right out of the box. Now, I'm going to take you through every step of the process. It'll take simple hand tools. Let's get to it. All right, tools used in this install include an impact gun, ratchet, 13, 15, and 16 millimeter deep sockets, universal swivel socket, and a hanger removal tool. First step here, we're going to grab our hanger removal tool and pop the hanger off right above our resonator on our passenger side tailpipe. The driver's side tailpipe is one piece all the way back to the muffler inlet, so we're going to attack that later. So for right now, we're going to do this, and I've lubricated it with WD-40. That makes life a little bit easier. All right, next step, grab your ratchet and your 15 millimeter deep socket, and we're gonna loosen up the clamp holding the tailpipe to the rest of the exhaust assembly. All right, hanger's out of position, clamp is loosened up. Let's get this exhaust pipe off. All right, so at this point, we're gonna focus on our driver's side tailpipe. Now, like I said, it's all one piece. I have a pull jack here right behind the resonator just to give it some support once we start disconnecting things. I am gonna remove this tip, however. Removing this tip gives you another foot, maybe foot and a few inches of extra space that you don't have to worry about feeding out of the frame. So we're gonna take this guy off with a 13 millimeter socket. Next, we can pop the hanger out of the isolator using our hanger removal tool right above that resonator. All right, so now we can disconnect the hangers right above the muffler outlet. There's one on each side. Grab your hanger removal tool and get these guys off. Now, as you can see, I have a pole jack here supporting this as well. So we have two different points of support for this exhaust. Now for this one, it's tough to get the hanger removal tool in here, so I'm gonna use my pry bar to get this guy off. All right, so next up, we're gonna focus on this flange here. Now you could bypass this and go straight back to the cat, but that's a lot of exhaust to take off in one piece, so I'm gonna separate it here. Now, once we have this taken care of, there is one more hanger to remove, but for now, grab your 16mm socket and disconnect these two bolts. All right, now when you pop this guy out of the hanger isolator, this is all gonna come loose, so you wanna be prepared for that. Before we do so, there's a ground strap here. I'm just gonna disconnect that from the factory tubing. All right, so that way it dangles here and we can reconnect it to our new exhaust later. So now we can grab our hanger removal tool and pop that guy off. All right, now you can take this exhaust off. So we got our factory exhaust off of our 5.7 Ram, and it's on the ground here next to our Corsa Sport dual exhaust with the polished tips. Now I want to go through some similarities and differences between the two kits here. Let's start at the front of the vehicle. Now of course with this particular kit we're reusing that factory resonator pipe that comes right into the muffler. Now if you are replacing that with say a Corsa 3-inch resonator pipe delete kit, then at that point you'd want to install that first. But moving on from there, you get a 3-inch 304 stainless steel insert going into the muffler, and you'll see the muffler is actually a little bit bigger than our factory muffler, which is surprising. Usually it's the other way around. Usually the aftermarket one is smaller, but in this case, the Sport muffler gives you the sound you heard from the sound clip earlier on. It's a little bit bigger, but it's definitely less restrictive. The muffler itself is also 304 stainless, so it's got high quality materials. And then coming out of that are a dual 2.5-inch outlet. Now that step down is going to allow for the dual exhaust pipes going around the rear spare tire. Now that thing there is going to use 304 mandrel bent tubing to make sure it's reducing any kinks in the rest of the exhaust pipes. Now the next noticeable difference here aside from quality is going to be the fact that your new pipes don't have the additional resonator or muffler, bullet style muffler by the exhaust tip. It's going to be a straight through pipe from the muffler back. Now, the tips coming out the rear end there are gonna be a huge difference compared to the factory. Your factory tips are polished, they're a little bit more glossy, they're 4 inches in diameter and they're slash cut double walled. So as far as exhaust tips from the factory go, they look pretty good, but if you're looking for ultimate aggression or if you're really looking to step things up, the Corsa tips are by far and away better. They're a 5-inch straight cut double walled tip, straight cut being just straight down, they're not at an angle, and they have the satin polished finish. Now the satin polished finish still has a little bit of a sheen to it, not as glossy as the factory one, just a little bit more of a satin finish that's gonna be a lot more aggressive than factory, and because they're larger, it just looks really good coming out of the rear bumper. That's already got the cutouts, and those 5-inch tips will fit perfectly in the rear bumper cutouts for the dual exhaust. Now, if you're not a fan of the polished stainless, as I said earlier, they do have a gunmetal option available, which is more of a satin dark gray finish, and black is always available in the category as well for a nice stealthy look. Either way, we're gonna start up here at the front of the vehicle with the muffler. Again, if you're using a resonator delete pipe, do that first, and then move on to this. Let's get started. First step for the install, we're gonna grab our muffler. Make sure you have your factory gasket put on the end here. I've already transferred mine over, just clips right on. Lubricate your hanger isolators. I'm gonna slide this guy in first. That's gonna be up by our resonator pipe. Swing it up and connect it to the ones over the axle. Definitely helps to use some lubricant like WD-40 or PB Blaster. They just slide right in. All right, so now with this guy hung up by itself, we can bolt it up to our factory resonator pipe. Again, this is the point where if you're not using the factory resonator pipe, use the appropriate hardware to bolt it up to your aftermarket one. So I'm gonna slide the bolt in the factory way. I'm gonna lift this guy up, and you kind of just gotta pinch them together. Just like that. Once you have them pinched together, grab the nut. We're gonna thread that guy on the back. All right, so that's gonna hold that on for a second. Do the same thing for the bottom. So once you have this guy on, you can grab your socket and wrench and tighten these guys down. Gotta make sure that gasket's in between though. All right, so now you can grab your 15 socket and tighten these guys down, just making sure that they line up evenly. All right, once you confirm that that gap is closed, we can move on. All right, next up, I'm gonna focus on our passenger side tailpipe. It is a little bit easier. I'm gonna pick up that S pipe and we're gonna install that with a 2.5-inch clamp into the bottom outlet on our muffler. Because the muffler is vertical, the top outlet here goes to your driver's side, the bottom's gonna go to your passenger side. I'm gonna focus here on our passenger side first, so we insert that S pipe into the bottom outlet, put our clamp on, now let's tighten it down. All right, now when I tighten down this clamp, I'm gonna get it nice and snug, but still leave a little bit of room for adjustment so we can make sure we align everything properly. All right, now for the passenger side tailpipe, I've got a clamp inserted. We're gonna feed this guy over top of that subframe there, connect it to the pipe. All right, once you have that connected, swing this guy up, insert that into the hanger isolator. Once you have that connected and you like the position, feed that clamp all the way back and tighten it down. All right, last couple of steps. I'm gonna grab our tips, set them in place, making sure we have a clamp on the end there. Now you can rotate it any which way that you'd like because it is flat. I like to put it so the Corsa name is facing the outside of the vehicle and it's visible. I'll line it up so it's flush with the bumper there and then tighten down that clamp. Repeat on the other side. All right, go back and make sure all your clamps are tight and you're good to go. That's gonna wrap up my review, install, and sound clip for the Corsa Sport dual exhaust with the satin polished tips, available for factory dual exhaust equipped 19 and newer Ram 1500s with the 5.7 motor. You can get yours right here at AmericanTrucks.com.